Good evening everyone and welcome to the Virtue Motors Arena for tonight's BBL Championship clash between the hometown Newcastle Eagles and the visitors, the Manchester Giants. Before we get underway and start talking about the teams and the game and what's likely to happen, there will be a minute's silence in honour of His Royal Highness Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, who unfortunately lost his life this morning. Didn't quite make it to his 100th birthday, but 99 is not the worst innings in the world. So we're going to go into a minute's silence right about now. Okay, so tonight, as mentioned, it's Newcastle Eagles versus the visitors, the Manchester Giants. Eagles obviously coming into this on the back of a heavy loss last Sunday down in Surrey, which stopped their run that they'd got going, where they had won 3 in a row following the last time they went down to Surrey and lost. So now they'll be looking to get back to winning ways tonight because they want to consolidate as high up a place in the league as they can for the playoffs. Manchester have got the other problem. They're just outside the playoff positions and really probably need to win out between now and the end of the season. And it's a team which has changed quite a bit during the season, not just on the court, off the court as well. Danny Byrne leaving the club and Lloyd Gardner coming in, who last coached in the BBL for the London City Royals. He's come in. Team hasn't really turned around much in fortunes, but they did run Leicester very, very close last Sunday. They only lost by 3 points, and Justin Satchel, new American who only came in January, February time, he had 36 points in that game and caused Leicester problems all game. For the Eagles are full strength as far as we know. Maybe 1 or 2 little niggles, but everybody's suited up and ready to go, and the other person that's ready to go is the man alongside me as ever, Dave Elkin. Dave, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I made reference to the time of season, isn't it, where anybody's capable of beating everybody. That was borne out a little bit in the Rocks game last week, when I thought they put up a pretty spirited performance, having lost some key players, but never in my wildest dreams did I think that 2 days later the Eagles would go down to Surrey and suffer a 20-point loss. Significance of that, well, Surrey and Manchester Giants are only separated by 1 win, 8 to Surrey, 7 to the Giants. So tonight we need the Eagles team that turned up against the London Lions a couple of weeks ago. And as you mentioned, the Giants ran the Riders close the other night, so this is not a time to dwell on that trip to Surrey Scorchers. We need the Eagles to be fired up mentally if they maintain their rhythm to the end of the season. And for the Giants, I guess they must take heart from that. So hopefully the end result of all that is a good game in progress.
Eagles having won both the games between the two sides this season. Both were down in Manchester. As I said, both against totally different sides. The last one was the 7th of March. They won 101 to 76. Manchester, for that game, they had a guy called Aaron Jeramipo, who was just come in, British guy, 7-foot centre, who looked as if he was going to be a real find for Manchester, but unfortunately he's out with a back injury. He's only played 3 games and he's been averaging 17 points. Obviously one of the ones we're looking forward to seeing is Sam Cassell, Sam Cassell Jr., the son of the great NBA player Sam Cassell, and then they've got the likes of Donovan Johnson and David Ulf, who both do a lot for the club, both on and off the court.
And of course,
players take the knee.
of course, they've also had to make a big adjustment from, to me, one of the best players I've ever seen play in the BBL when they lost Breon Brady, I think earlier this year. So they've had a fair bit to put up with, but as you say, they've got a new coach in, and of course the big connection with Newcastle is the assistant coach for 1 year, played for the Newcastle Comets.
I'll let you say his name, Dave, because
Pluto Verlitis.
there you go, because I can never pronounce that one. It's Manchester that's won the tip, and they have gotten the first offence, but they're inside the 3 seconds shot clock. 2-1, and Sam Cassels has to put that up from way out. He doesn't make it, and Justin Gordon takes the easy rebound. He pushes the floor into Lewis Sayers, but Lewis Sayers' 3 is off.
Well, contrast those two offences. The Eagles got right into their defence for the last time Manchester had the ball. Made it tough for them, and the Eagles 2 quick passes and they had a wide open shot. Having said all that, the Giants are the ones who opened the scoring.
Yeah, Jordan Whelan driving well to the basket. Jordan Whelan, one of these players who's obviously promised a lot over the years, and he's starting to show that with averaging nearly 15 points a game. And at the other end, it's Evan Maxwell who's denied, and David Ulf tries to get to the basket, but steps back a little bit too far. Fletcher's long pass out to Lewis Sayers. Both teams try to settle into a rhythm. Cortez Edwards for 3, and he knocks down the 3 to put the Eagles in front.
Well, the Eagles will be really pleased to see that go down from Cortez Edwards, because it was a wide open look, and prior to that, Donovan Johnson had played some excellent defence on Lewis Sayers.
He's very highly rated as a defensive player, as Donovan Johnson. He has Cassell. Back to Whelan. Whelan drives hard at the basket. It's flicked out to Johnson, whose 3-point shot is short. Maxwell takes the rebound. Gordon in the corner, but he comes out. Fletcher tries to put up a 3, and Fletcher, first 3 of the game, is good as well. So both the Eagles backcourt guards off and running.
Yeah, and that's the 3rd offense in a row that the Eagles have created an easy look by moving the ball quickly. If the primary break's not there, straight into your secondary without hesitation. Pays big dividends.
David Ulf gives it to Johnson. Johnson turns the corner. It's going to be a foul by Maxwell as he tries to drive to the basket, and it is. The other guy I think just mentioned about Jordan Whelan starting to fulfill his promise is David Ulf's an interesting character. Up until a couple of years ago, he'd only ever really played EBL Division 1, and he's averaging 10.6 and 8.7 rebounds, and they're not bad numbers.
Well, having watched the Eagles nursery team Newcastle, come up through the leagues during the season, I've seen quite a lot of teams in the lower divisions, and the Lancaster Spinners, where he comes from, have produced some pretty decent players. And I think there was a hope that they would be pretty much a feeder team to the Giants.
I think that in Myerscough College as well as
the
other one, Dave. Yeah, yes, Edwards driving hard to the basket, drops it off to Maxwell, but he's stripped from behind by Johnson. Showing some great defence early on, Johnson. He gave it a satchel, but the ball was bounced off.
Yeah, sometimes, Jeff, it's just good to browse through the pages of stats, and Brady came up everywhere. The one who, but after him was Ulf.
Yeah. Well, Breon Brady in the first matchup early in the season in December against the Eagles had 24 points, I think it was, and 22 rebounds, believe it or not.
That's a massive performance by anybody.
His index stating was about 40. That's Cassell's put another 3-point shot up, and he's foul given on Cortez Edwards on the shot, so he'll go to the line for 3 shots.
Yeah, Cortez made that a really difficult shot for Sam Cassell Jr. there. Unfortunately, he just went that little bit too close, and Sam's now got the easier chance from the charity stripe.
He's sporting a pair of his dad's shorts from the NBA by the looks of it.
Well, there's more. You look at the NBA these days, there's more and more people wearing the shorts higher, and in fact, if some of them give them a long pair, they'll roll them up. Fashions change over the years, Jeff.
It was actually only 2. It was a 2-point shot he was fouled on, so he made both.
Yeah, I was surprised when We thought it might have been a 3.
Fletcher drives hard to the basket, and there's the left-handed layup in off the glass. Trademark Ramon Fletcher move.
It wasn't. That was a difficult one because that wasn't his trademark straight line drive, was it? That was a difficult angle. Yeah. Still brilliantly executed at the end by Ramon.
Yes, Cassell steps back, shoots the 2. That one's off. I'm not sure whether. Well, I think Ulf tipped that in, but I'm not sure. It could have even been Justin Gordon.
Yeah.
There's Edwards going to the basket as well. He doesn't make it, and Cassell takes the rebound. 8-all in the early going here.
Well, you can see why the Giants were competitive against the Riders.
Lots of energy. Here's David Ulf. He's going to drive to the basket. Maxwell does a good job stopping him getting there. Long 3 from Jordan Whelan. Bounces off the glass into the hands of Maxwell, and Eagles are off and running. Fletcher seems to fancy this today, and that's a lovely drive to the basket. And then he passed it out to Maxwell, who also drove to the basket, but he didn't make the shot, but he got his own rebound and put it back to put the Eagles back up in front 10-8.
Well, you've got to give credit there to Evan Maxwell for staying with that play.
Yes.
The rebound of his own shot was probably harder than his first attempt, but hats off to him. He did it. He completed it. Still 10-all though. The Giants are, whatever the Eagles do, the Giants are answering straight away.
And in particular, Jordan Whelan, who's looking good early on.
That's a terrific pass from Maxwell.
There's Maxwell inside for 2. Nope, off the rim and down, and it's Jordan Whelan who takes the rebound.
Always frustrates you from a coaching point of view when you see 2 great passes like those two. First by Edwards and then by Fletcher, and not quite converted at the end.
David Ulf showing a bit of a range as well for Manchester. 12-foot jump shot is good, and he's put them in front again, 12-10. Sayers trying to answer for Newcastle. Maxwell will shoot the 3. Maxwell's 3's off. Satchel takes another rebound. From way downtown, well, he had 36 on Sunday, so he's possibly got the green light. It was a long way out there, and that one came back off the board, and Maxwell took it. There's Fletcher trying to find a gap for somebody. That's a great pass to Cortez Edwards. Edwards back to Maxwell, and Maxwell in for 2, and he's fouled in the act of shooting, and he'll go up the line to shoot an extra 1. 2. That time the 2 great passes were converted for you, Dave.
I can think of all sorts of accolades to give, but I'll tell you what, that's one advantage of being 7 foot. When you're that close to the basket, I mean, he hardly left the ground, did he? He just extended his right arm. Again, excellent pass from Cortez Edwards.
Alex Owandi comes into the game, Bulgarian by nationality.
Yeah, I've seen this guy play as well. He's decent.
He takes the place of Justin Satchel.
Yeah, brings some energy to the team. Well, Satchel's 30-odd points through the night. It's a long way from his season's average of 13.8. So he must have had a tremendous game against the Riders.
Maxwell on the line for the extra 1. Makes the extra 1. 3-point play from Evan Maxwell. Substitution. Evan Maxwell comes out. Darius Defoe takes his place.
Coach McLeod going with one of his favoured rotations.
Yep. Defoe for Maxwell.
Yep.
And Maxwell's 3-point play though has got the Eagles in front by a point with 4:48 to go in the first quarter. Yes, Cassell turns the corner beautifully and doesn't make it though. And Cortez Edwards, what a great rebound that was from Edwards.
I don't think, no matter how big you are on the other team, if Edwards decides to go and get that rebound, he's got a reasonably good chance of getting it.
Pfluger also on the court for Lewis Sayers. A little bit of pressure from Edwards and Pfluger. But Cassell, that's a lovely pass to Johnson. Johnson makes the bucket. 2 points, and that puts them Manchester back in front. Great pass from Sam Cassell. Here's Fletcher dancing, driving to the basket. Goes the opposite side this time, but he still makes it. Goes past Ulf. It's a seesaw game at the moment. Here's Whelan. Oh, what a great pass from Whelan. What a fantastic behind-the-back pass from Jordan Whelan to David Ulf. And David Ulf waited his moment and laid it in for 2. Manchester showing some good skills early on. Still in front by that single point, 16-15. Here's Defoe. Back to Fletcher. Fletcher for 3. No good. Owandi takes the rebound.
So do you think that that last pass is anything approaching Gareth Murray's last week?
No, I still think that was one of the best passes I've ever seen.
That won some minutes on social media. That pass,
it certainly did. But I'll tell you who else is going to get some minutes on social media if he keeps playing like this. Is Jordan Whelan, up to 8 points personal, and after that a great assist, he scored the next basket. Justin Gordon going to the basket, left-handed layup, doesn't make it. Thought he was fouled by Whelan, but no call.
I was going to say Jordan Whelan might just have got away with quite a bit there, but unfortunately for Darius, he didn't. Jeff, all you want from referees is consistency, right? I mean, there's no consistency there. That was definitely a foul by Darius, and it was definitely a foul on Justin Gordon at the other end.
So the foul on Darius sends Donovan Johnson to the line to shoot 2. Already 3 points in front of the Giants. Misses the first though. Should have checked to see what he is. Normally I do. He's actually an 81% free throw shooter, so that's a bit of a surprise in him, isn't it?
Yep.
Makes the second though. Giants up by 4, 19-15. Fluger brings the ball over the halfway for the Eagles. Using Maxwell as a screen, but comes out to Defoe. Edwards, he's going to get to the middle. Back out to Fluger. Extra pass from Fluger, but Ramon Fletcher stepped out of bounds. David Ulf comes out and Justin Satchel back in. Big unit, Justin Satchel, isn't he?
Was he 6'8", power forward?
Yeah, 6'8", power forward, yeah. Looks every inch of it and certainly looks powerful as well.
Played in some two countries as well, Uruguay, Mexico, Argentina.
South American boy. Yes, Wandy thought about shooting the 3, decided not to. Goes to Cassell, extra pass to Whelan. Whelan shoots the ball straight over the top of the basket, an air ball. Fletcher to Edwards. Edwards was going to alley-oop it to Fluger, but Cassell, 6'4" guard, and he used every inch of that to cut that pass out. Wandy to Johnson in the corner. Johnson for 3, but it's off. Edwards again picks up the rebound. And this time he does get to the basket and lays it in for 2. Cortez Edwards. At the moment it's Edwards and Fletcher that are keeping the Eagles in the game at the moment. 19-17 it is to Manchester. That one's off. Maxwell takes what will be his 7th rebound of the game so far.
His 7th?
His 7th, yeah.
Holy Moses.
Fletcher for 3, and Fletcher makes the 3, and Maxwell may well get an assist for that one as well. Eagles back in front by a point with 1:30 to go in the first quarter, 20-19. Edwards, Gordon, Cassell. Fluger was wide awake there and saw it coming all day, but his pass to Cortez Edwards is too strong. 2-on-1 break, and they went for the alley-oop, and Fluger's pass was off the radar, and they didn't make it.
And of course, prior to that, it had been the other way around.
To be fair,
Edwards had tried to float one to Fluger.
Fletcher, though,
that was much simpler.
Yeah.
Let's get the ball to Ramon Fletcher.
Let him drive.
No help side defense available anywhere. Easy layup.
Jordan Whelan had missed the shot at the other end.
And that must be something like a 6-point swing, Jeff.
Yeah, just about, but Johnson's going to bring it back to within 1 point. The Eagles were on a, I think it was a 7-0 tear there, until Johnson stopped the rot, 22-21. There's Defoe, shaped to go for 2, but decides to drive at the basket, but great block by Johnson again, and he's helped with the hustle play as well to get the ball to Cassell. And Cassell's foul as he drives through the middle. Be interested to see what the foul's called on, because it's called on Fletcher 44, and I think Fluger thought it was going to be on him.
That was a very, very difficult one, that, I think.
Eagles going with 7 players now, I think. Maxwell comes off. Who else is coming off? Darius Defoe coming off? Yeah.
So often in some games, that type of offensive move never get called because it's very, very difficult to pick out exactly who did what. And not only that, I think he'd lost the ball before he'd finished his spin.
Long pass, long end line ball by Cassell, who comes back to get it back off Johnson. His 2-point shot is off. Justin Gordon, who's come back on for Darius Defoe, takes a big rebound. Only 6 seconds to go, and that's going to be a foul by Johnson. Block and foul. Gordon knew exactly what he was doing there.
Yeah, no real problem for Manchester other than the Eagles will have 5 seconds because that's only their second foul of the quarter.
Zach Powell coming in for the last 5.2, and I presume it must be for defensive play in some respect. Jordan Whelan getting a little bit extra rest. Fletcher gets it into Edwards. 2 seconds. Slayers with turnaround 3, hits the front of the rim and bounces back, and that's all she wrote for the first quarter, and we'll go to an advert break. So 22-21 as first end of the first quarter. No time I would call at all in that quarter. For the Eagles, Ramon Fletcher has 12 points already. Evan Maxwell 5 points and 8 rebounds. Cortez Edwards 5 points and 3 rebounds. For Manchester, we have Jordan Whelan with 8 points, 3 rebounds and 4 assists. Donovan Johnson 7 points. David All 4 points and 2 rebounds. Neither team's benches yet to score, but it was very much a seesaw quarter. That's what, you know, when you hear these people in football matches saying, oh, this is like a basketball match, and we know that it isn't, but that one actually could be called like one.
Yeah, I think we thought it had the makings of a good close game, and certainly that first quarter was. I think from the Eagles' point of view, I think it's pretty clear that they've left the Surrey game behind them, which is a good thing from their point of view. And when every team goes through so many changes that the Manchester have had to face, new coach coming in, players leaving, they always have to go through a period of transition. And I would say that there's a fair bit of cohesion in the way their team are playing at the moment, which makes me think now that that performance against Leicester last weekend was no fluke at all.
So Eagles come back out with Fletcher, Edwards, Sears, Defoe and Gordon.
In fact, I'm not sure what Sam Cassell's figures are showing in terms of shooting, but I don't think at the moment his shooting's matching the rest of his play. And had he dropped some of his shots in there, Manchester might have just have had a shade of a lead.
Yeah, he's 0 from 4 from the field.
Yeah, I thought that's the way it was.
Yeah, his 2 points both come from the free throw line.
Yeah, he's creating good shots for himself, but not knocking them down.
Powell has stayed on. Gordon up. Wow. Just get some height, Justin Gordon, when he jumps like that. It's not even a jump shot, is it?
No,
he jumps so high, just like dropping it in from the free throw line.
From his point of view, great catch and shoot. The way very decisive in his cut. Not good defense because the person who was guarding him was ball watching. No way should he be able to make a cut like that.
Yeah, so Wandy doesn't make that one. Ball loose, and Wandy does well to hustle and get the rebound. Coach McLeod not too happy with his team there for letting Wandy come back and get that rebound.
Go watch out because that guy plays with a lot of energy.
Yeah, Satchel at the other end. He has to put the long 3 up on the buzzer, doesn't make it. Edwards comes away with the ball, gives it to Fletcher. Fletcher was looking for Gordon to make a move. Gordon now has made that move. He's against Powell. I think this is a bit of a mismatch, but Powell does enough to put him off for his shot, and Satchel picks up the rebound. Alex Owandi. Powell left-handed 3-point shot is off. That man Edwards takes another rebound.
He's just amazing with his rebounds, absolutely amazing.
Fletcher all the way to the basket, and that's in for one, and he'll get an and one.
And so is that guy with, he makes these drives to the basket, and he's often looking at the trees in front of him, but he always manages most of the time to find a good way to finish.
Well, there was an MVP discussion this week on the BBL show, and it gendered a lot of stuff on social media. And you're saying Ramon Fletcher's right up there for MVP, and people were questioning it. And if you look at the stats, he leads the league in scoring and he leads the league in assists, so he has to be in the conversation.
Well, I don't think it's any surprise at all that he's in consideration. In fact, to me, there's 3 potential MVPs in the Eagles, because when Justin Gordon, Fletcher and Courtney Edwards are all playing well at the same time, they're tough to beat.
Yes, Johnson, long 2 is no good.
I can tell you now from talking to Pluto Vorolitis, their assistant coach, before the game, they fear Justin Gordon.
Fletcher absolutely carving the Manchester defence open yet again for another layup. He seems to be on a personal mission here today.
Yeah, I think if Pluto wanted to consider all the angles, he would have also mentioned Fletcher and Edwards.
Fletcher, Eagles now up by 7. Johnson, though, replies at the other end, like his energy, cuts the gap to 5. Edwards with a long pass, and that's going to be a foul all day long. In fact, I'm going to give Edwards a lot of credit there. I think he saw Satchel was holding on to Gordon and thought, well, if I put the ball in his direction, referees are going to see it as well, and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, Satchel allowed Justin Gordon to take position on him there. Fatal mistake when you're playing defence.
Well, Sam Cassell's is... I thought he's limped off a little, but he hasn't. But he's got his show off as he comes off the court. And Justin Satchel comes off. He looks a little bit disjointed and disappointed. Eagles with a chance to go back up front. Lewis Sears turns the corner, back out to Defoe. Edwards for 3. That one's off. Defoe gets the rebound, but he's adjudged to have pushed David Ulf, who had come on for Justin Satchel. Jordan Whelan's the other one who come back on for Sam Cassell. Defoe's second foul. First person, I'm going to say the first person to get onto 2 foul, but Satchel's on 2 as well for Manchester. So, Zach Powell brings it forward. Johnson, he'll stand right off over the leaves because he's not going to shoot that 3. He has Jordan Whelan though, trying to get to the basket. Good work by Fletcher, just to knock it. Ball against Whelan. Whelan's adamant that Fletcher's put that ball out.
Well, the referees had a better view than we did, but it looked for all the world that had been knocked from behind him.
Yes, Fletcher again driving baseline. That's a foul by Owandi. He thought Sears was going up for the 3, but Sears realised what was good, got his play in the air, and he's landed on top of him. That's a foul.
You wish sometimes there was an advantage rule in basketball, just like football, because that was
perfect one, wasn't it?
Absolute perfect example. No harm, no foul.
Sears, Edwards, Gordon inside against Owandi. Good defence by Owandi, but nice play by Justin Gordon. Found Darius Defoe in a spot where he's normally almost automatic from.
He is.
He missed that one.
That's become Darius' spot over the years, but didn't come off for him then.
Yes, Powell. Zach Powell's seen a lot of minutes early on here, probably because of Jack Hudson's injury. Jack Hudson injured his ankle, and Powell showing a lot of skill, but not at the end of the shot. And at the other end, it's Fletcher who gets all the way to the basket and lays it in for 2. And that's enough for Lloyd Gardner. He thinks 7 points is the gap. Eagles lead 30-23, 6:40 to go in the first half, and we'll go to an advert. So Eagles lead 30-23, first time out of the game called by Manchester coach Lloyd Gardner. Ramon Fletcher, Dave, has scored 18 points on 8 of 9 shooting.
Wow. And how many assists has he got?
He's only got the 1, but that's because it's because he's been driving to the basket himself, hasn't
Pity
he?
you
Really?
don't get an assist off your own
yeah, absolutely.
basket. I mean, in terms of X's and O's, there's not a lot to talk about at the minute. I think that scoreline reflects where we're at in terms of execution of skills, etc. But that was an excellent timeout by Lloyd Garner, because all of a sudden, having moved the ball well and got some easy looks in the first quarter, everything they're doing at the moment is hard work. Whereas the Eagles are finding easy look after easy look.
Well, it's I'm not calling Zach Powell out, but obviously Zach Powell's in a bit of a position where he doesn't normally play a backup point guard. That's normally Jack Hudson's role. And with Sam Cassell off the court, Powell had been doing it, but Jordan Whelan's decided to take over the ball, at least for this offense. Awandi, who goes up for three left-handed, and nothing but net, as Dan Routledge would say, as it flicks through, brings them back to within 4.
That was a much-needed point from them, but even so, it was still really good defense by the Eagles.
Yes, Gordon against Johnson. Nice pass inside to Maxwell, who's back on the court, but he can't make the layup. David Ulf takes up the rebound.
Not an easy find, that, even though Maxwell's got a lot of height. It wasn't an easy find. An excellent pass from Justin Gordon.
Awandi's throwing that one straight out of play.
This is a great moment for me, Jeff, because I've mentioned many times this season about Maxwell's carelessness on kicking. That was excellent defense from Maxwell. Yeah. Great footwork as he pressured that player to the outside. No middle, didn't even give him a look at the middle. Followed all the golden rules, force your offensive play to the sidelines.
And that's produced a turnover, so the Eagles back on offense. Ball in the hands of Fletcher, he gives it to Pfluger. Pfluger travels, but only because he slipped, really. Unfortunate travel as much as anything. Just got on the wrong sort of, I think he got his feet mixed up a little bit. He's chuttering away as he goes back. I think he's obviously just chuttering at himself, because it was a travel. So here's Powell, guarded by Fletcher. Sayers comes out to meet Whelan. Ulf sets the screen. And Whelan tries to get round, back to Ulf. Ulf throws the ball to the corner, and there's nobody there. Nobody there at all.
My vision was a bit blurred then. As you see now, there's no player to throw it to, unless it was throw it to the referee.
It's one thing just missing somebody, but when there's nobody within 20 feet of where he threw the ball, it's a real strange one. Pfluger, great drive to the basket by Rex Pfluger. He gets the 2 points in, and it's 6-point gap. 5 minutes to go in the first half. Here's Zach Powell, stop and pop. Doesn't get there though. Evan Maxwell picks up yet another rebound. That might be his 9th. Fletcher for 2. Oh, this time his shot is off. Maxwell tries to get the offensive rebound, but he can only succeed in putting the ball.
Showing a little bit of frustration there, Evan, but it was only because he mistimed his jeep. In actual fact, he had a nice seal on the defensive player, so he didn't even need to leave the ground.
Did well though. I mean, he took the defensive rebound, and he was the first one down to contest the offensive rebound. Johnson to Ulf. Ulf, nice little move inside.
Yeah.
And knocks it down from the elbow. 2 points, David.
Great finger work there on his shot.
Pfluger to reply. Sayers in the corner. Lewis Sayers hasn't really got going tonight yet. Pfluger showing a lot of energy. Fletcher to Sayers. He has Gordon for 3. That one's off. Pfluger showing exactly that energy I was just mentioning. And what a great pass from Evan Maxwell to Fletcher as well. He gives it back to Maxwell. Maxwell steps back for 3. Doesn't make it. But Rex Pfluger's up there again. But this time he just can't gather it in. And Awandi finds Whelan in the open court. And Whelan's 2-shot point goes in. 32-28. And Coach McLeod decides he needs a timeout. In fact, it's cut even more. 32-30. So Giants hanging around a bit like Glasgow were last week. But perhaps Giants with a bit more purpose.
Well, there's been 2 timeouts called this half, one by each coach, and both have been justified because you could sense before that Lloyd Gardner thought all the cohesion that he put into this team since the time he took over was just going out the window, the way they were just always finding themselves in difficult position to get shots off. And I think that Coach McLeod's instincts there took over, and he was feeling that the momentum was going away from that good run the Eagles had had.
I think it's a fair point to make, and Donovan Johnson up to 9 points personal now for the Giants. He leads their scorers. Jordan Whelan has 8 points, 4 rebounds and 4 assists, doing really well. David Ulf with 6 points and 3 rebounds, also doing very well. And for the Eagles, well, that last 2 was only Ramon Fletcher's second miss. He has 18 points and 2 assists. Evan Maxwell, 5 points on 2 of 9 shooting, which isn't good. But 10 rebounds in the first half.
He's been taking care of the boards. I mean, following the timeout, you often look to see if there's any obvious changes in the thing. What happened after that Giants timed out was they went back to having much better spacing. So it'll be interesting to see what Coach McLeod has drilled into the team following his timeout, because certainly as far as defence is concerned, they've been playing pretty solid defence right from the start.
I think the other thing Lloyd Gardner will be pleased about is they're only down 2 and he's been able to give Sam Cassell a real rest.
Yeah.
I think that's, so Cassell back on the court now as the Eagles are on offence. Fletcher and Whelan been really tough, but Fletcher makes his 9th shot out of 11. He's 3 of 4 from 3-point range, and he's up to 21 points personal, and there's still 3.5 minutes to play in the first half.
Yeah, and a guy who's on the form he's on tonight, you as a defensive player, you cannot simply stand when he catches the ball. You've got to close him right down, make him put the ground ball on the deck.
Well, that's an incredible play from Ramon Fletcher. Once again, Cortez Edwards took the defensive rebound. He got the ball to Ramon Fletcher. Ramon Fletcher was going to try and go through the middle, and he was hit by, I think it was, I'm not sure who he was hit by, but as he was hit, he flicked the ball towards the basket, and it actually went in, and the Giants thought the foul was on the floor, but the shot went in. As simple as that.
Yeah. Well, when Lloyd Gardner thinks back to this half, I think he's going to have to talk a little bit about transition defense when he takes him into the locker room at half time.
37-30 Eagles lead. Fletcher up to 23 points
Too
now.
many times the Eagles are getting a look after one outlet pass.
Here's Zawandi. Nice pass inside to Ulf, but he can't make the basket. And between them, Maxwell and Cortez Edwards come away with the rebound. Edwards burying his way to the basket, but it's been given as a double dribble. He did lose control of the ball, there's no doubt about that. Justin Satchel back on. Donovan Johnson off.
That's an interesting sub, because Johnson has been giving him a lot of energy.
Cassell brings the ball over halfway. Gives it back to Justin Satchel. There's Wandy, he'll go to inside and then steps back to shoot the 3. That one's off. Fluger boxes out really
great
well.
boxing out.
Wow, and great handles by Cortez Edwards. Fantastic bit of play all the way around. And Lloyd Gardner calls, that'll be in the highlight reels this week, ladies and gentlemen. Great defensive rebound by Rex Fluger. His pass wasn't great to Cortez Edwards, but somehow Edwards' magical hands, and then he found Maxwell completely open under the basket, and Maxwell splashed the cash for 2 to put the Eagles up by 9, biggest lead of the game, 39-30, and Gardner called the timeout with 2:32 to go.
He has to talk to them about transition defense. The Eagles, key to transition offense, first 2 passes. The Eagles are doing a great job on those first 2 passes, and Manchester have simply got to think about, are they going to try and jam the rebound, but they've got to protect the middle against those cut-in players from the Eagles. It's just too easy at the moment to get an attack after 2 passes against this Manchester defence.
We've just seen the stats going up there, and Maxwell 7 points and 10 rebounds now. Edwards has also got 8 rebounds, 4 assists and 5 points. Another all-round game from Cortez Edwards. Fletcher with 23 points in the first half. Manchester need to come back. They've done really well so far, but the Eagles just a couple of times have looked like cutting loose. But the first time Lloyd Gardner called a timeout, Manchester did come out really well. So we'll see if they come out well this time.
Well, it's hard for Manchester when Fletcher's got, 23 points?
23 points, yeah.
16 among the rest of the team. And you got some big scorers among the rest of the team. I don't think Louis Sayers has taken a shot tonight, has he, or has he taken one?
He may have taken a shot, or a couple of shots, but he hasn't scored yet. He's actually taken 3 shots, and all 3-pointers all have missed. In fact, the Eagles are shooting only 4-13 from 3-point range. He has Satchel. Fadeaway jump shot is good for 2. Just like to shoot the ball, Justin Satchel, as he proved on Sunday against Leicester. And the first points after the timeout are Manchester's. Now if they can get a stop and a score here, that'll be a timeout well taken. Here's Fluger for 3 though from Gordon's pass. That one's off. Wandy gets the rebound, and he has a chance for Manchester to cut it again. Into Satchel. Satchel against DeFord. DeFord, great defense. A long pass from Satchel finds Whelan. Whelan, and that ball's going to be all the way back. Great defence by Rex Fluger. And it'll be an end line ball at the other end to Newcastle after Whelan's pass went well astray. He's been given a flop warning as well. I'm not sure how. I don't think he actually. Fluger definitely went down. Fletcher to Defoe driving in. Just Jordan. It's funny that. So Defoe drove into Ulf. Ulf immediately acknowledged the foul by putting his hand up, and the man standing next to him, Jordan Whelan, shaking his head, said, "No foul, no foul." Some good referees who play, don't they? Defoe at the line for two. Makes the first. Defoe's first point of the night. And there's his second as he makes both. 1:33 to go. Eagles lead by 9, 41 to 32. Cassell calls the players. He brings the ball over the halfway line. Not sure what the play was because nobody else seems to have. Ulf has come out and took the ball well. Cassell was really well guarded by Justin Gordon. Justin Gordon really doing well. And this is going to be, shot clock violation. Fantastic defense by Justin Gordon. He's one of these players that can defend 1 through 5, isn't he, Dave? You know, and he's kind of like it's like watching a young version of Fab in some respects. Darius comes back out. Looking slightly under the weather, Darius, as he walked off there. I'm not sure if he is or not, but doesn't look as if he's 100% the way he's walked off there. Eagles on offense though with a chance to go up by double figures. Fluger for 3, makes the 3. 44-32, and the Eagles are up by 12 with as we go inside the last minute of the first half. Satchel Owandi for 3, nearly replies, but Maxwell takes yet another rebound. Fletcher to Fluger, Fluger to Justin Gordon. Another highlight play from the Eagles. Fluger found Jordan with the alley-oop, Gordon with the alley-oop. Down it went, the whistle went, but it's because Alex Owandi's turned over his ankle, I just wondered why the whistle had gone, and then I realised Owandi's and he's limping away, he looked pretty bad there. Yeah,
and obviously sympathy to the player who's got the ankle problem, but you can't take anything through it. That was a fantastic pass from Rex Fluger. I mean, Justin Gordon, has we come to know, can deliver those, but you still have to get the pass right for him, and that pass was right on the button.
Takes the Eagles to 14 points in front, 46-32. Starting to really look strong and pull away, but it's Manchester with a chance to reply. Jordan Whelan's going to drive hard to the basket. Evan Maxwell with a great block though. He was there to meet him, and the shot clock is off, and the ball in the hands of Ramon Fletcher. The Eagles with a chance to make it a 16-point. There's some ball movement, passing. Fletcher pops for 2, doesn't make it. And there's only 1 second left. Justin Whelan releases from the halfway line, doesn't go, and the Eagles really powerful end to the second quarter and the first half, Dave, and probably, not sure if they deserve 14-point lead, but they certainly deserve the lead.
Well, this 14-point lead has been earned through a really tough defence. You know, you're as good. Sometimes you're as good as your defence. They're playing excellent defence tonight, and as a result of that defence, Giants are simply losing the spacing. No question about that. And secondly, great transition offence. And those are the two things the Giants have got to do. The Eagles, they must be really pleased with the mental approach that they've had tonight, and obviously they want more in the second half.
We'll be back in about 10 minutes or so with some stats for you, but at the moment, at the half-time break, it's Newcastle Eagles 46, Manchester Giants 32. Okay, welcome back as we get ready for the second half of tonight's BBL Championship clash between Newcastle Eagles and Manchester Giants, with the Eagles leading by 46 points to 32. That's the biggest lead of the night, and it was a really good finish to the second quarter and the first half. Just have a quick look at some of the stats. Eagles shooting percentages are a lot better than Manchester's. Overall, they're shooting 45.2%, which is 52% from two-point range and 33% from three-point range. But of those 33%, Ramon Fletcher was actually 75% from three-point range. 4 offensive, 21 defensive, total of 25 rebounds, 12 assists, 5 turnovers. Individually, Ramon Fletcher leads all scorers with 23 points in the first half. Evan Maxwell has 7 points and 12 rebounds. Cortez Edwards, 5 points, 8 rebounds and 4 assists. And Rex Fluger, 5 points. For Manchester, it's 33.3% overall, 48% from two-point range and 7.1% from three-point range on 1 of 14 shooting. They have 3 offensive, 20 defensive, and a total of 23 rebounds, 10 assists, 6 turnovers. Their top scorer is Donovan Johnson with 9, Jordan Whelan with 8 points, 5 rebounds and 5 assists, and David Ove with 6 points and 4 rebounds. Dave mentioned about that transition. Defense needs to be better, and they must as well look at their spacing. But I think the other thing they'll be looking at is bigger contributions from both Sam Cassell Jr. and Justin Satchel, who have only scored 6 points between them.
Yeah, well, you know, you mentioned those shooting percentages. It's hard to win a game when your opposition shooting 45% to 33, and that's what the Giants face. And let's look at another key stat. In terms of points from turnovers and fast breaks points, it's 26-8 to the Eagles, which is absolutely emphatic. And all this is coming because the Eagles have been playing far better defense of the two teams. And in terms of the problems on defense, then the big problem was with the Giants defending the Eagles' transition. The Giants started well, and you know, you saw all the reasons why they were so competitive against Leicester. But as soon as the Eagles cranked up the defense, then they lost a lot of the spacing that had given them good looks to start with. So uphill task for the Giants, but it's only 14 points down. If they can hang in this quarter and claw it back to single digits, who knows? But this is now pretty much the Eagles to lose.
One thing to report, we do believe that the Eagles will start the second half with a free throw because there was a technical call. We thought it was on Alex Owandi as he left the court. There was a lot of banter between Owandi and Lloyd Gardner with referee Ian MacDonald, and they were virtually down the tunnel when Ian MacDonald called the technical foul. And we first thought it was on Alex Owandi, but it's since been levelled against the coach, Lloyd Gardner, who probably went back in and asked what all the rumpus was about. But so I think the Eagles will start the second half with a free throw, and that certainly looks like the way the referee Bartek Razinski is going to the bottom line. I'm not sure whether the Eagles know it's a free throw or not. I did see referee MacDonald tell Ian McLeod.
I think the clue might be in where the referee's standing with the ball.
Yep, Ramon Fletcher going a step forward, blowing on both of his hands, trying to warm them up.
Well, while Fletcher's on the line, it's appropriate to say, as much as I admire the way the Eagles are playing defence and running their transition against the Manchester Giants, you've got to admit that Fletcher's been absolutely on fire.
Jordan Whelan, not quite sure what's going on. He's got to stand next to Ramon Fletcher. I don't know if you saw Andre Lockhart's turnover in the week. Did you see that one, Dave? I'll tell you about that one in a minute. Probably the greatest turnover I've ever seen. Fletcher makes the free throw, goes up to 24 points. Yeah, DeAndre Liggins threw the ball to inbound it, and he thought DeAndre Liggins was, well, his explanation was he thought DeAndre Liggins was standing out of the court, and therefore he could just, and he just started dribbling up the court without passing the ball in. And everybody just stopped and looked at him, and they had to have a real inquest after the game. Having said that, the next player down for London, Andre Lockhart knocked down a really tough basket, so he did make up for it very quickly. Anyway, Eagles 47-32, courtesy of that Fletcher free throw. Ball is in the air from Satchel for 3. Johnson and Gordon contest the rebound. The referee's going to talk about it. See whether it came off Gordon's foot or whether it came off Johnson's foot. And it's been given as Manchester's ball off Gordon's foot. And I'm going to say that was the right decision from where I was sitting. So Manchester with 14 seconds on the clock. Cassell into Satchel. Satchel fadeaway jump shot is no good. Evan Maxwell pulls down his 13th rebound of the game. Edwards to Fletcher. Fletcher to Gordon in the corner. It's a technical warning. Gordon turned round on David Ulf. There was a warning in the first half to Manchester, but it wasn't on that. It wasn't on David Ulf. It was on Jordan Whelan. But there was a warning, and what happened there was Gordon turned past him, and Ulf just went down as if a sniper had hit him from the stands. And so technical foul called. He's second of the game that Ian MacDonald has called. This one on David Ulf. So Ramon Fletcher once again will go to the line for a free throw. And once again makes. And I think it'll be Eagles ball at the end line as well.
Well, the Eagles have added two to the gap where they really don't really do anything, are they?
That's right.
Giants have done it all for them.
Fletcher. Well, I would say that wasn't the greatest pass in the world from Fletcher, but Gordon.
It wasn't as greatest faster than Gordon either.
Yeah, Gordon's pass to Maxwell was very poor. David Olfo.
Yeah, a tough move that, because I think he knew the block was coming from behind him and he quickly switched hands.
Yeah, he made the good two there from Ulf to get back. That's going to. I thought it was going to be a foul on Johnson, but it wasn't.
Well,
Fletcher went out of bounds.
I think what happened there, Jeff, is Fletcher tried to do a quick crossover and it came off the Manchester player's feet, but it hit Fletcher on the way out.
Fletcher was standing out of bounds, so it was an out of bounds. Eagles 48-34 after Ulf's two-pointer. Here's Cassell. He's going to shoot the three. This time he makes a three. Sam Cassell.
Well, you have to say, as far as Sam's concerned, he's not been put off by the fact that he's missed most of his shots so far this half, and he was very controlled when he took that, and he'll be feeling better now that he's knocked one down.
Eagles coming back, 11 points in front. Gordon to Edwards. Edwards bouncing off Cassell. Reverses it to Gordon. Gordon bouncing this way, that way, and the other, but doesn't make the shot. Eagles both get up there for Maxwell and Sayers, but falls between them, and Johnson takes it. Nice move by Justin Satchel coming inside there after the pass from Cassell.
Well, three pretty good jumps by the Giants so far. That was Cassell's shot. Great defensive work there by Marshall, and obviously Satchel came in with a good offensive individual move.
And they've got it down to 9 points after going down by 16. He has Sayers for catch and shoot three straight away. Misses. Ulf takes the rebound. Giants on a good run here. Here's Whelan. Back to Ulf. He finds Cassell. Cassell's thinking about the three, but it's a lovely bounce pass in there by Sam Cassell into David Ulf, and David Ulf crashes into the boards and lays it in for two, and he's fouled by, I think it's Cortez Edwards. It's called on, even though Lewis Sayers put his hand up to try and claim it. And Ulf goes to the line for the extra one.
Well, this is what you get when you get good spacing back into your offense and you have players making attacking moves to the basket without the ball.
Ulf has missed the free throw. 46% free throw shooter, probably showing why there. That one was clashed against the back. He has Edwards back up for Eagles. 7 points the gap now, so they've halved the deficit. In fact, they've more than halved the deficit, because it went to 16 with the two free throws. There's Gordon. Satchel showing good defense, good defensive intent, but Gordon somehow got around Satchel and past Johnson and laid it in with his left hand hook shot. Back up to 9. Ulf and Cassell's exchange passes. Cassell's lobs it over the top to Satchel, but Fletcher was very smart then, came in between and just knocked the ball away. End-line ball. Good
positional play by Satchel, great lob pass in, but an even better defensive play by Ramon Fletcher.
Nice pass by Whelan to Ulf. Ulf comes to the corner, misses it. Fletcher was trying to out-rebound Lewis Sayers and knocks the ball dead. So Manchester will get another chance.
conversation there between Ulf and the bench, and I think they're probably saying to him, when you're that wide open, just catch and shoot. You don't need to do the dribble to give the defence a chance to recover onto you.
Yeah, Satchel from the inbound. Nice pass to Cassell, and Cassell knocks down another three. It was a really good pass because he almost used David Ulf as a screen for the pass, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought the target was Ulf.
Fletcher to Maxwell. Giants back to within 6 after that Cassell's three. Here's Fletcher at the other end though. Another three for Ramon Fletcher. 4 of 5 from 3-point range. He's up to 28 points personal. I think it must be just about a season high, I think, for Fletcher. If not, he's going to be very close to it, and you consider there's still 60 minutes plus change to play. There's Cassell. Nice pass inside. I'm not sure what Maxwell was thinking about.
Well, he was watching the ball. That was the problem there. He lost sight of his man.
Ulf lays it in for 2. David Ulf making a little burst of scoring as well. Fletcher behind his back to Sayers, back to Fletcher, and they tried to force it round into Maxwell, but Giants it is that break. Jordan Whelan for 2, and Ian McLeod calls a timeout. I could see that time coming out all the way down the court then. Jordan Whelan laid in for the 2, timeout, 5:51 to go in the third quarter, and we'll go to an advert. That was a really nice advert, that, from Enigma Tap, one of our club sponsors. I think that advert was previewed in the Gladies game last Sunday, and it's a really snuzzily well put together advert by our producer Stu. But meanwhile, back to the game, 53-48, and McLeod had no choice but to call a timeout.
No. The quarters so far belong to Manchester. The Eagles had an easy start to it with the two technical situations that produced shots for them. Fletcher's really only added just with the 3 and not much from anybody else who's not in down, and Manchester really controlled the game, and it was a really well thought out and good timing of the timeout by Coach McLeod.
Yeah, 16-7 the quarter so far for Manchester, and that was after they conceded the first 2 points, so really it's a 16-5 differential since those 2 technicals to Manchester. So the technicals they've either not affected them or they've fired them up. Perhaps they have affected them. Fletcher though finds Defoe, and Defoe, I don't know how many times that's happened over the years, but Fletcher to Defoe, and Defoe for 2. So McLeod will be pleased. Timeout, coming out of timeout, and you get 2 points in your first offense. There's another good pass by Cassell, Whelan twisting and turning, but taking 1 step too many as he's smothered by the Eagles defense.
And how many players was he surrounded by?
3 or 4, wasn't it?
And what therefore is your outcome on that? Simple, kick it out. Yeah, when you've got that many players around, you sense them, you feel them. Yeah, kick it out. You've got guys wide open.
Fletcher into Gordon. Gordon gets round Satchel, flicks it all back out. Another great pass. Edwards this time, he back out to Fletcher. Fletcher for 3. In it goes again. Fletcher up to 31, and 2 great passes there. One from Gordon to Edwards, and Edwards turned down the 3 because he saw Fletcher was wide open. He hit Fletcher with his pass, and Fletcher knocked down the 3, and Eagles back into a double-digit lead. And Manchester with another chance. There's a nice pass from Satchel into Ulf, but good hands by Edwards, and then Fletcher finds him. Fletcher finds that Cortez Edwards, reverse dunk, almost comes up with another steal as he comes back down on defense. David Ulf drives hard to the basket, lays it in for 2.
It was a difficult shot. Made it look easy because he was going away from the basket, and he great spin on the ball to kiss it in off the glass.
Up to 14 points personal, Ulf.
Yeah, he's been alive this quarter.
10 point the gap, and it's Eagles on offense. Gordon can't get any joy from Satchel and Johnson. Here's Fletcher for three. This one's off, but Darius Defoe takes a fantastic offensive rebound and lays it in. It's only the third shot Ramon Fletcher's missed all night, and it's only the second three he's missed.
Still good things came of it though, didn't it? Yeah.
Good.
Darius Defoe got good inside position. That is a very tough shot.
It was indeed, but the Manchester manager recycled it through Wolf, and Jordan Whelan slashes through the Eagles' defence and lays it in for two. Very high scoring game, or at least it feels like a very high scoring game. Eagles just slowing it down very, very slightly, but Fletcher's going to wrap that one round to Gordon. Will Gordon make the three? Gordon does make the three.
And suddenly it's a 13-point deficit.
Again, yeah, and getting back to parity for the Eagles, and once again you see the value of the timeout. Off, nice pass to Johnson. That's going to be a foul right before he was backing away as Johnson made the contact.
In modern day basketball, when you get an overplayed defense like the Eagles are playing, you've got to encourage your players to make these back cuts. Something always good comes of back cuts against teams that are overplaying as aggressively as the Eagles are.
Sam Casals limped away there, and remember we said in the first half he came off the substitute when he took his boot off, and he did look as if he was limping that time. But the good news for the Giants is that it's Alex Owandi who's come on, so he's recovered from his ankle turn. Meanwhile, Johnson knocks down his points. He's the fourth Giants player into double figures. Makes them both. Back to 11-point game. Fletcher guarded by Whelan, shovels the pass into Defoe. Defoe, I think, tripped. I think is foul was by.
Quandy's obviously got over his ankle injury.
Yeah, he's got to injure it again if he starts tripping people up. Eagles from the end line, sideline. Here's Fletcher turning the corner. He's going to drive to the basket and lays it in for two. 33 points.
He's simple as this. He's just tough to stop tonight, isn't he?
Yeah. 33 points personal. Well, Johnson threw that across, and Edwards knew exactly where it's coming. Gets the steal, makes the run to the basket, and slams it in one-handed for 2 more points to Cortez Edwards. And again, now the Eagles up biggest lead, well, almost the biggest lead tonight. They did go up by 16, but they're up to 15-point gap. And first, Jordan Whelan knocks down a nice shot as well. Showing some good form. He has Edwards at the other end. Never was he going to drive the basket. He was always just waiting for his teammates to come up. And it's back to Ramon Fletcher. 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Eagles lead by 13. Fluger, who's come on for Sears. Fletcher puts up another three and knocks down another three. Up to 36 points personal. The boy is absolutely on fire.
He must be shooting at a high percentage as well.
Unbelievable percentage. We'll get to that when we get a break and play. He has Wandi turn the corner. He's long two is good. Manchester are finding a way to score, but what they've got to do is try and play some defense. Eagles up to 72 points through, and we're not through the third quarter yet. Ball in the hands of Ramon Fletcher again. It's Justin Gordon now. Cortez Edwards turns the corner. He's up for 2 points, doesn't make it, but the foul's going to be called. And there's a little bit of afters.
Somebody giving Darius good advice, just walk away, which will help everybody.
This question, it's going to be a technical foul. Technical fouls on. So is that a double technical foul?
No, one was a foul, one was a technical.
Right. So the personal foul was on Jordan Whelan, a technical foul on Donovan Johnson, I think. It's the third technical foul. Yeah. Fletcher misses the free throw though. So that's the third technical foul on Manchester, Dave.
Tells you how versatile our production team are, because whenever we're unsure, they help us out.
Yeah, they keep an eye on them fouls, but it was Jordan Whelan with the foul, personal foul, and Donovan Johnson with the technical. As I suspected, here's Fletcher. Flicks it out to Gordon. Gordon decided to turn down the shot. Fletcher, 3 seconds left. Justin Gordon, well, I thought he walked there. He had to have walked there, but he missed the shot anyway. Ulf gets the rebound inside the last minute. Eagles lead 72-58. And it's been a bit of a bitty last 5 minutes for Manchester after they got themselves right back in the game. McLeod's timeout was a good one. Zach Powell's 3-point shot is well off, but David Ulf takes a really good rebound and gives it a good assist to Justin Satchel, who lays it in for 2. Eagles, meanwhile, already back up the other end. Nice little pass by Gordon. As Defoe goes to the basket, thought he was fouled, missed his layup. Fluger gets his hands in there, and that one comes off Satchel last, and the Eagles get the ball in turnover. 19.5. It's fast and furious, Dave.
Yep.
Fluger and Fletcher is going to slow it all down and just run the clock down before Eagles get the last shot of the quarter. They lead by 12. It's 72-60, which means Manchester will shade the quarter, possibly. Out to Fluger. Fluger from way downtown knocks down the 3, and that makes it 75-60 after the end of the third quarter. And we'll have a little. I think there may well be another technical foul here. So double technical foul. A technical foul on 12 White. Alex Wandy for Manchester there, 4th. But there was also a technical foul call on Darius Defoe. They both had words, I think, as he came away. And that's now, I think, 5 on Manchester and 1 on the Eagles. And I think all but 1 have been called, well, I think, by Ian MacDonald.
Well, I want to go away from the technical.
Yeah, let's talk about the game. Yeah, so
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, after all that, very good start by Manchester. The hopes will raise from them, but at the end of the day, Ramon Fletcher single-handedly brought the Eagles back in. That got all the Eagles firing, and they've ended up with a comfortable 15-point lead at the end of that quarter. And they probably handled some of this going on off the ball much better than Manchester have.
Yeah, and the Eagles, if you remember, the quarter was 16-7 at one point, and they've come back. They've scored 22 points to 12, and they've turned it around. And that Rex Fluger 3 on the buzzer, virtually on the buzzer, meant they actually won the third quarter as well by a point. They won the first quarter by a point, but they won the middle quarter or the second quarter by 13.
Yeah, I mean, at one point in time, you said that Manchester Giants would have to figure out a way to play better defence. What they have to do is figure out a way to play defence on Ramon Fletcher.
Thanks. Shout out to Dan Routledge. Thanks very much, Dan. Ramon Fletcher on 36 points. Well, I know that it is definitely a season high, and he's only 2 points away from his BBL high, which he made against Surrey a few years ago. So Ramon Fletcher looking for 4 points to take him to 40, which would be his highest ever total in the BBL, and he's got 10 minutes in which to do it. He's on 36 points, and he's got 6 assists as well. Evan Maxwell back in the game. He's on 7 points and 13 rebounds. Some big numbers at times. Nice long pass from Justin Gordon to Cortez Edwards. Evan Maxwell takes his 14th rebound of the game, but he's adjudged to have pushed to get the ball. Manchester can look to cut the gap after the Eagles missed that shot. Sam Cassell, Alex Awandi, Satchel shaking and baking, gets the ball back out to Cassell. It seems as if those two just want to pass the ball to each other. Cassell knocks over 3 down. His father was a good shooter as well, wasn't he, Dave? And,
Well, his father was a great player.
yeah.
Thing is, he obviously loves that spot. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. The Eagles fans are wondering why that was called.
Our production team are now wondering whether they actually know what basketball's about now, because some of these calls have just got them completely baffled. And I think that one had us baffled as well. Called by Ratinsky on David Ulf as the Eagles were attacking the basket.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
And if that goes in, which it doesn't, would have been Ramon Fletcher's highest ever score, because it was a 3-point shot, but it didn't go, and Manchester have come away with the rebound. And more importantly, a chance to cut the gap once again. They've got it down to 12 with Cassell's 3. Cassell's.
But what excellent defense from the Eagles. They're not giving Sam Cassell an easy look anywhere, are they?
And here Zach Powell has to drive inside and looks to knock the 2 down. Zach Powell makes the 2. Getting a lot of minutes, the young Stanley.
Yeah, well, his previous shots were well off target, but boy, did he take that one well.
And he's cut the gap to 10 points. Fletcher to Gordon. Edwards and Gordon exchanging passes. Edwards' floater is off. Owandi takes the rebound and brings the ball down court. Manchester have the chance to cut it to single digits, yeah. Sam Cassell, David Ulf. Owandi looked for it, but he didn't get it. Satchel against Fluger. Steps back from the 3-point line. Gives it to Ulf from the elbow. Question about whether there was a travel involved there. Eagles thought there was. Manchester thought there wasn't, and Ulf knocked the 2 points down, and it's now an 8-point gap. 7:40 to go. Fluger tries to get that ball into Gordon. I think the players seem a little bit bemused at the moment as well as to quite what's going on.
Well, what's going on at the moment is Manchester have had the slightly better of this quarter.
Absolutely, and they showed a lot of spirit and character to come back once again. And there's going to be a foul inside, I think. Justin Satchel holding Evan Maxwell. Yes, Fluger for 2. Fluger knocks down the 2. He's up to 10 points personal.
Yeah,
from
you
the
know,
bench.
do you know what? He's shooting much better tonight than I've seen him do for a long time.
Eagles just get a double-digit lead again. Here's Ulf exchanging passes with Owandi. Owandi for 3, and Owandi knocks down the 3 and turns and switches to Darius Defoe on the Eagles bench. No love lost between those two. But Owandi's cut the gap to 7 points. Edwards finds Fletcher. Fletcher finds Gordon. Gordon finds no points. Edwards can't quite make the rebound. Cassell takes it instead. 7-point gap. If Cassell's 3 goes in, it doesn't though. Evan Maxwell does take the rebound. There's an awful lot of things going on underneath the basket. There's Edwards, and that's going to be a charging foul by Edwards on Ulf. Edwards called for the charge as he dropped the ball off.
Well, Coach McLeod standing there shaking his head. He may well be in frustration at the call, but that wouldn't be my frustration. My frustration would be the Eagles there created a wide open 3-on-2 situation, and unfortunately the execution didn't quite come off, and they ended up turning the ball over with a charge at a time when Manchester has snuck this back to 7 points.
Yep, and chance to cut it to even further because they're on offense. Once again, Manchester making a good start to the quarter. They made a great start to the third quarter, and they're making a good start to the fourth. Satchel just got there before Edwards. Ulf drives hard, left-handed off the glass, and it's down to 5 points, 77-72. And David Ulf is now up to 18 points personal.
Yeah, they've got much better space in this quarter and making good cuts into the centre of the key, which are causing Eagles problems. And even better finishing.
Fletcher's going to go up, and that's from behind. Justin Satchel comes in, and that's a technical foul on Ramon Fletcher. The other stat we need to possibly look at is, well, I was just going to say down to 5, whether Ian McLeod, he had 2 timeouts left and he's decided to call. Technical shot is taken by Justin Satchel and made, and now the Eagles will get that timeout with the gap down to 4 points, 77-73.
Well, at the moment, Jeff, I'm sitting here wondering why that point hasn't gone on. You've just said 77-73, showing at 77-72 at the moment.
Well, I think I'm going to be kind to the table and say they're probably trying to catch up with all the technicals and all the fouls.
Right.
We'll see whether it does go on, because I've definitely got it down as a... And the start of this quarter, it's a 12-2 start for Manchester. Second foul on Ramon Fletcher.
And it's almost as this disruption to the game from the technicals that have been going on has actually benefited the Giants more than the Eagles, because they've certainly shown the better execution in terms of the half-court offences of the two teams in the last 3 or 4 minutes.
So Ian McLeod, his timeout in the third quarter worked perfectly. He'll be hoping this one, because Manchester have pulled back 11 points to be only down by 4. It was 75-60 at the end of 3. It's now 77-73. Interesting as well, we're looking at people who haven't played. You know, Eddie Matthew hasn't played a minute, Drew Lasker hasn't played a minute, Shori Adedekin hasn't played a minute for Eagles. Well, Fluger had all day long to, now we've got player on the floor. I have to say that, Dave, I think my commentary has been disrupted tonight by what's been going on. There's been a lot of basketball played, but there's been a lot of things going on off the ball as well, and now we've got Sam Cassell's down on the floor. And I did mention that I thought Sam Cassell was struggling with an injury, and he's certainly struggling down there now, although his teammates Satchel and Powell help him to his feet. And is he going to take it? Is he going to go off? Yep, looks like he is, or he's, well, not quite sure.
Well, nobody's been in to help him, have they? So he's able to stay on the floor.
I think Jordan Whelan's about to come back.
Be a big blow if Sam Cassell has to go off, because he's certainly been the man who's probably controlled this quarter better than anybody else.
Well, he's up to 13 points and has 7 assists as well. And, well, for somebody who was down for so long with an injury, he certainly looks quite fit there as he's coming away from with Edwards on him all over him. Satchel and Fluger. Lots of tough defence being played on both sides.
Pass.
Great pass. But that was made possible by the way Satchel rolled off Cortez Edwards and got free of Edwards. Edwards slipped.
Well, yeah.
Satchel got the basket, but he was fantastically well found by Cassell, and it's a 2-point game. It's 77-75.
Well, I've mentioned this so many times tonight about spacing, but the fact that they're keeping good spacing is giving the Giants great opportunities to cut to the basket.
Zach Powell got a hand in there, and he thought that it had come off Defoe last, but it's been given as an Eagles ball at that Manchester end line. 7 seconds left on the shot clock. Goes back out to Defoe. Fletcher is the man who's going to drive to the basket. And that one's short. Manchester come away with the rebound with Owandi and have a chance to either level or even go in front. It's been a remarkable comeback by Manchester in this quarter. There's a pass inside to Ulf. Ulf comes back out. Owandi fakes a 3 and drives all the way to the basket and lays it in. And while level, it's 77 all. And I don't think many people would have thought that was going to happen.
No.
Makes it a 17-2 quarter at the moment to Manchester, who are really, really looking well up for this now. Here's Edwards. He's trying to get to the basket. He does get to the basket, but it goes down and comes back out. And Manchester now with a huge opportunity to take the lead with 4.5 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
And Coach McLeod's dilemma is he's already used 2 timeouts.
Well,
and the Eagles are in the penalty.
Cassell all the way to the basket without anybody contesting him. McLeod thought there was an illegal screen set.
I
but
think there was certainly a double screen set for him. I don't know whether it was illegal, but he used it brilliantly.
yeah, and knocked the 2 points down, and now suddenly Manchester are up by 2. It's 79-77. And if anything illustrates that basketball is a game where you never know what's going to happen, this has been it. Cortez Edwards stops the rot.
Yeah, you need a man to rise to the occasion, and that man on the Eagles side has been Cortez Edwards.
He's up to 11 points personal, has 8 rebounds and 6 assists as well. I think with the other point that Manchester, they've kept Ramon Fletcher very, very quiet since he got up to 36 points. And once again, they're in there, and Zach Powell makes the 2 points, comes up strong, and that's going to be a foul.
Well, the huge difference here, Jeff, is in the first half, without question, the Eagles' interior defense was a fortress. Right now, they're probing and probing and probing, being very patient in their offensive setup, but nearly every move they're ending up with is a pinpoint pass right into the heart of the Eagles' defense. And to give them an even better boost, the finishing from them.
Zach Powell makes the free throw. He's up to 5 points personal. And more importantly, has given his side a 3-point lead at 82-79. Eagles have responded by bringing Maxwell and Gordon back.
9, 8.
Edwards finds Gordon. Gordon's 3-point shot is off, but Lewis Sayers takes a great rebound. Important rebound as well. Ramon Fletcher looking for a screen, but once again, Manchester, tough defense there. Fletcher's going to have to put this up. Well, he would have had to put it up, but there's been a foul called just as he went past Sam Cassell. Sam Cassell's 3rd foul. 3:02 to go. I think that's your advantage rule, Dave, isn't it? You know.
I'm trying to work out why there's a red.
Darius Defoe's fouled out.
Fouled out, right, got it.
Yeah, he fouled out on the previous offense.
I think people thought there was less time on.
Well, that was incredibly scrappy. And Manchester right now are the team very much in the ascendancy. And I think David Olford, Alex Owandi's put his hand up to say, that was my tip in, and it's a 5-point lead. And all of a sudden, Ramon Fletcher, remember, had 36 points at the end of 3 quarters. Hasn't scored at all in this quarter, but is trying to provide an assist for Maxwell. But a huge rebound for Justin Satchel. And as we enter the last 2:25 of this game, it's an 84-79 lead now for Manchester, and a 5-point lead, and they have a chance to increase that again. Cassell is going to have to come back out to Ulf. Just 1 second left on the shot clock, and he's bailed out by a foul by Justin Gordon, I think, or is it Evan Maxwell? Yeah, Justin Gordon.
Well, whoever it is, the Eagles are in the penalty.
1 second left on the shot clock when Justin Gordon made that foul, and that'll put Sam Cassell on the line, as we already mentioned, an 80% free throw shooter.
He's walking with a limp all the time, but I have to say his leadership's not in question at the moment. He's had really good leadership skills and qualities in this final quarter.
This is the first. Makes the second. So it's now a 6-point gap. It's 79-84, and there's only 2:05 to go. Manchester, remarkable. This is a 25-4 quarter so far. Eagles have only scored 4 points in this quarter. Justin Gordon driving to the basket is fouled, but he couldn't make the layup.
This has been one of the issues here. The Eagles have been making these good drives to the basket. Cortez Edwards, Justin Gordon, but they've not been knocking down the finish. Certainly from the Eagles' point of view, he needs these two.
Justin Gordon makes the first. That's only the Eagles' 5th point of the quarter. Really needs to make the second, and the Eagles need to get a stop.
They do. I was just going to, you've taken the exact words out of my mouth. This is a number of times the coach shouts, let's go stops in practice. This is what they need right now.
Gordon made them, both of them, and he's cut the gap to 4 points. And once, oh, that Sam Cassell finds David Olf, who comes in, had the mismatch on Ramon Fletcher, and lays it in, smashes it down for 2. Fletcher now to respond at the other end. The Giants zone is working for them at the moment. There's Fletcher, 38 points now, equals his BBL all-time high. 1:30 to go. Eagles within 4, 87 to 83. Satchel and Cassell. Satchel showing a little bit of ball skills. Ball between his legs. Cassell's going to try and run the clock down once again. He finds Ulf once again. Ulf looked as if he was going to go to the basket, but he was stopped by Evan Maxwell. Eagles, as we enter the last minute of the game, are down by 4, but they're on offense. Ramon Fletcher's going to try and get to the basket, but no, he gives it back to Justin Gordon. Justin Gordon knocks down the 3, and we have a 1-point game with 52.8 to go, and I need a breath, so we'll go to an advert. So 52.8, Manchester have the ball, or will they have when they come out of their timeout, which was taken by Lloyd Gardner, just as the Eagles have come back. So 1-point game, 87-86. Dave, you said before the game you felt it could be a close one. You've got it absolutely spot on.
Well, that was a huge few seconds, because that pass from Sam Cassell's to Ulf was absolutely sensational. It came off. He tried another one, and Ulf lost the handle on the ball. So there was 2 points lost for the Giants. They go down the floor and nail a beautiful 3 from the corner. Massive moment in this game, that. Give the Eagles a chance right back into the game when it looked like Manchester were going to finish off the game.
So for Manchester, David Ulf up to 20 points, 9 rebounds. Sam Cassell has 16 points and 9 assists. Jordan Whelan, 14 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And from the bench, Alex Owandi has 12 points and 11 rebounds. Remarkable. He didn't have any points at all in the half, and he's now got 12 points and 11 rebounds. For the Eagles, Ramon Fletcher has 38 points and 8 assists. Justin Gordon has 14 points. Cortez Edwards 11, and Evan Maxwell 7 points and 15 rebounds. Sam Cassell's wide open for 3, puts the 3-point shot in and is fouled while doing it, and will go to the line for an extra 1. They now lead 90 points to 86, and they've got an extra shot from the line, and it's Sam Cassell who's going to take it. You mentioned his leadership on 1 foot almost at times, and that is a magnificent example of it from Sam Cassell. Brilliant 3-point shot, and he goes to the line for the extra 1. Cassell knocks it down. 5-point game again.
Well, it's still a 2 offense game, so the Eagles have still got a chance, but they need to convert from this one.
Not going exactly quickly as well. That's Fletcher finds Maxwell. Maxwell lays it in for 2, and he gets fouled in the act of doing so. So that'll be a chance for Evan Maxwell to get a 3-point play, which would give him a double-double. 25.6 to go.
That 1.6 differential could be vital, certainly when Maxwell knocks this one down. They can't play out the shot, they have to take a shot. Sorry, they can't play out time.
Maxwell makes it a 2-point game at 89-91. Eagles putting the pressure on. Cassell breaks the press, brings the ball over halfway, and there's a foul by Ramon Fletcher. Eagles are in the penalty. Not sure that was a very smart foul.
Well, you could argue that the best chance the Eagles had to stop the clock. A lot depends on whether he makes 1 or 2 here.
Makes the first. looking very solid from the line.
Makes this a 4-point game going to be tough.
He's 4 or 5. That makes him 5 or 6 from the line. And he makes them both. So Ian McLeod calls timeout, but the Eagles are down by 4 at 89-93. And it's hard to believe this in some respects, Dave, because you were talking the Eagles' defense up in the first half, rightly so, because they played great defense in the first half. They only conceded 33 points in the first half, but they've conceded 60 in the second.
That's a massive turnaround. And Sam Cassell seemed to be making no massive contribution to the game at all in the first half. But what a second half he's had. And Ulf as well.
21 points personal now, Sam Cassell. But I think he might be 22. The extra point hasn't quite gone on yet. 9 assists as well. And again, look, you look at Alex Owandi from the bench as well, and he sneaked up on me. 12 points there on 5 of 8 shooting with 11 rebounds. He's played a massive part in this second half as well. And as you mentioned, David Ulf, 20 points and 9 rebounds. So the Eagles will come out, they will advance the ball.
One thing you're going to stress if you're in the Manchester Giants camp is don't foul a 3-point shooter.
Well, the thing is as well, by advancing the ball, it means they've got 14 seconds to shoot, which would mean there's be 3.1 left on the clock. So
well,
made that
I think that the Eagles will want the quickest possible shot they can get here.
Yeah. Fluger finds Gordon.
Whoa.
And that's exactly how to do. And wow. Well, you only get 1 second off the clock when you do something like that.
1 second should be 0.1 of a second.
Yeah.
That's
Unbelievable pass. And something I read the other day, and I wasn't aware of that. Rex Fluger won't get an assist for that. You don't get an assist from an inbound, but it's still an assist as far as I'm concerned.
If the Eagles win this game, he deserves more than an assist. Wow, what twists left next?
Well, 91-93, we've got 16.3. Giants have now called their third and final timeout. And they've done a lot of this. I mean, we were looking at Donovan Johnson in the first half, who was possibly, along with Jordan Whelan, the best players. And those two have not really affected the second half. It has been Cassell's, Ulf and Wandy with a little bit of Satchel thrown in as well. Eagles, they look at it, Fletcher's got 38 and Gordon's got 16. Maxwell has a double-double of 10 and 15. Edwards has 11, 8 and 6. But the Eagles, Fluger has 10 from the bench as well. But 60 points, in fact, it's more than 60 points, it's 61 points the Eagles have conceded in the second half.
Well, there's one thing for as far as the BBL brand is concerned, this has been a fantastic game for the neutrals. Steal here would be useful.
Jordan Whelan to inbound from his end line. Nearly didn't get the ball in, it's all there. And that's a foul by Fluger on Whelan. This could be a long 13 seconds. Jordan Whelan will go to the line, so it's time for me to check my stats to see what kind of free throw shooter he's been this season. 73%, so fairly solid. Cortez Edwards fouled out of the game on that one. He sits down and Evan Maxwell comes on. I think Rex Fluger thought it was his foul, but it was called on Edwards. 2 shots for Whelan, says 73%. Makes the first. This is where fans make a difference, Dave.
Yeah.
You got somebody going the line. It's such a crucial point, and there's absolute silence in the home.
This reminds me of that game the Eagles had down at Bristol, where the last few seconds took minutes.
It's going to be a substitution. Jordan Whelan coming out. Zach Powell going in for defensive duties. It's a 4-point gap again. 13.3, 95-91.
And Zach Powell straight away overplaying Ramon Fletcher.
You have to get the ball in quickly, Fletcher, but that's stolen by Owandi, and that could be it. Gives the ball back to Johnson. Johnson gives it to Cassell, and it's all over. And Manchester have produced a massive shock here. absolutely closing the Eagles down second half and scoring at will at the other end, and they've taken a 95 to 91 point victory, and that really does put it's a great performance for Manchester second half, and that puts them well back in the playoff picture. The Eagles will still make the playoffs, there's no doubt at all about that, but they can't afford to keep losing games like this against teams below them. Dave?
Well, you know, teams below them, I mean that's a pretty good second half performance from Manchester. You've got to give them credit for that. Eagles were in control until maybe the halfway through the third quarter, and you know you've got to give credit to where it's due here, and that's all got to go to Manchester. There's nothing we can take away from them. The Eagles have got to prepare for the next game, which I think is a home game, and no game on Sunday, is there, this week?
Leicester. We'll play Leicester next Friday, 6 o'clock tip-off, yep. Before that, though, we do have the ladies play on Sunday here against Auckland Wolves. That's a 4 o'clock tip-off on Sunday, and the reason it's a 4 o'clock tip-off is because the ladies play the day before. That's tomorrow in Durham, and that's a 1 o'clock tip-off. So a double weekend for the ladies. Durham away at 1 o'clock and Auckland Wolves at 4 o'clock at home on Sunday. The Eagles, they'll be back next Friday night when they have to take on the Leicester Riders. The Leicester Riders virtually clinched the league title now. But this one, well, it's in the books as a Manchester win, 95 to 91. Not quite sure how it happened, but it has happened. And Manchester deserve an awful lot of credit for the way they played in that second half. So, 95-91 to Manchester. Game over, commentary over, cameras over. We'll see you on Sunday for the ladies versus Auckland Wolves.